What's the pettiest reason you've rejected someone? This is awful, but it was her laugh. I never told her, obviously, because someone's laugh is a representation of when they are happiest, so shallow as she was pretty awesome. Her toenails were so long whenever she was nearby you could hear clicking from the ground as if she was a dog. Edit. Wow, this really exploded. Thanks for the awards, kind strangers. And yes, she is real and I'm not making this up. For anyone asking how she functioned, I guess she was okay walking around with fungal nails and one shoe size above her normal size. The nails kinda curved down so they'd snuggly fit into the shoe. She was texting me to tell me about her standards for men, which were pretty high. That's fine. But I didn't like all the spelling mistakes she was making. We went bowling and she started saying the bowling ball was hurting her fingers. She was convinced that there were bugs inside the bowling ball biting her fingers and that was the reason for her pain. My perpetually single friend has turned rejecting people into a bit of a sport. All Tinder for her. Which is all sorts of amusing. But one day, I had actually met someone for lunch and thought, here's someone that's kind of her type. I wonder if she'd be interested. Quote. I ended up pulling up his website and showing her some pictures of the guy. We get to about the 6th photo in. Of 2 of his cats. In a treehouse. She explains, his cats look bratty. Yeah. Well, that's why you're single. Still. 6 years later. She laughed like butthead. What everyday skill becomes suspicious if you're too good at it? Noticing cameras. Remembering someone else's schedule. Being able to recognize pills. No, I'm not a drug dealer. I just work in a pharmacy and some of them are very recognizable. Counting bills quickly. Learned when in Uzbekistan. A place where the highest denomination was 1,000 but a meal at a restaurant cost 20 to 30k. Being unbothered by blood and guts. I'm a veterinarian. I've spent days up to my elbows in all manner of bodies and parts and fluids. I can watch surgery or necropsy videos over lunch. I did an eye surgery on Tuesday and somebody had to catch the new kid. The big ones aren't allowed to get faint. It's very inconvenient. Related aside. When the nice young lady at the bank says, "Oh my God, there's blood on your shirt," assuring her that it isn't your own in fact offers no reassurance. There was a restaurant in a Hyatt hotel that had a casino. The waiter from that restaurant remembered our preference when we showed up with a friend 6 months later. Was there ever a time you're thankful the pandemic happened? What was the reason? Did you not see the freeways under lockdown? I will never not miss how light that traffic was. More time with my kids and the wife. Also allowed me to spend more time with my brother during his last months before he died of cancer. Time I otherwise would have spent working. It gave me time away from school to be admitted into the hospital for more than a month and it saved my life. Okay. Without going into too much, the week lockdown happened, my ex moved out. It was a bad relationship but I was in denial. So now I was locked inside. With a lot of big feelings and nowhere to go. It forced me to confront myself. A lot of my own mental issues and a lot of my own trauma. I hated it, resisted it and fought it. Eventually, though, I learned to work on myself slowly. And I don't think that would have happened without lockdown. Yes. It made me slow down and re-evaluate what I was doing with my life. I cut out people who were dragging me down. And reconnected with old friends through group Zoom calls. Changed jobs. Started taking care of my body and lost 30 pounds. Found a new hobby. I do wish I made these changes years ago. Instead of waiting for a global health crisis to kick my butt into gear. It gave me a whole year to spend every day with my senior pup before he crossed the Rainbow Bridge. How would the world be different if we valued rest, relaxation and patience over excessive hard work? Building wealth and instant gratification? We'd probably have less mental illness, especially in regards to depression and generalized anxiety. Since we'd probably value relationships over accumulating wealth, we'd probably have stronger relationships, which would probably culminate in less divorce and likely larger families. Greater than, if more of us valued food and cheer and song above hoarded gold. It would be a merrier world. Thorin Oakenshield. Probably amazing. I got fired from my job and took a month off. Best month of my life. Nearly every day I was outside just taking in the beauty of nature and exercising. Frostpunk players will know that if you don't work overtime, everyone will freeze to death. Appreciation of the earth and its beauty would be greater. After working in a hospital setting as a nurse during the worst days of the pandemic, I learned the hard way that it's not worth working yourself to death for administrators who will just replace you right away. I know I'm not the only one who felt helpless and expendable after the horrors that this virus brought. I'm just so grateful that my loved ones and I survived all that. Nowadays, I work and live within my means. I never work extra shifts. I don't spend recklessly. When I'm on duty, I work hard and take care of my patients to the best of my ability. Outside of work, I don't think about it. I spend time with my wife. I cuddle with my cats. I play video games, work out, go to therapy, go out to eat, drink occasionally with buddies, and maybe even smoke some pot when I'm feeling adventurous. I'm hardly on social media. And I have a handful of select friends that I go spend time with. It's not the most exciting life. Definitely not living on the fast lane. But it's a simple, charmed life that I remain grateful for every day. People who listen to whatever music sounds good and don't really have a genre. What's a song that someone showed you or found by accident and was good? Barrett's Privateers, Stan Rogers. Just a sea shanty with a sad story that talks a bit about how piracy actually worked. Hadestown by Anais Mitchell. I heard one of the songs off the album playing over the speaker at Barnes & Noble and immediately went over to the media section to ask what it was. The guy behind the counter was thrilled to tell me all about it, and after buying it for myself I understood why. Hadestown is seriously one of the greatest albums I've ever heard. And just like the guy at B&N, I never miss an opportunity to play it for people or tell others about it. Buttercup by Jack Stauber. All of his stuff is pretty good, but that one is great. I came across the Alabama Shakes a few weeks ago and they are so good. I haven't heard a bad song by them. The only gripes I have are they don't have more songs and I didn't discover them earlier. Haha. Shoegaze. Gimme All Your Love. This Feeling. And Hold On Ari favorite songs. Also, anything by Brian Fallon. My youngest daughter. She's in her mid-20s. Consistently makes great suggestions that are widely varied in genres. Ne Obliviscaris. DJ Shub. Agalok. Especially, The Mantle. Death Grips. Especially, The Money Store. The Midnight. Caravan Palace. Anytime I need something new to listen to, I just ask her. Came across Gregory Alan Isakov on YouTube about a year ago. His album This Empty Northern Hemisphere is one of the most gorgeous things I've ever heard. What extremely minor superpower would you choose? The power to constantly smell good to the person who smells my scent in close range. My fingernails stop growing at the perfect length, and they never break. The superpower to get all the dust and dirt into the dustpan without there be a stupid line of dirt. That incessantly irritates me to no extent. Regenerative teeth. Fix all my mouth problems. I want to be able to hover at least 3 feet off the ground, so I can reach everything in my house or at a store without needing to ask for help or climbing on things. Injuries don't heal any faster, but they heal completely.
Subscribe, my brothers.